Hello viewers, welcome to Unacademy. In today's session, we'll be looking at simple interest and compound interest. Welcome to the channel Let's Crack Management Exams English. Let me very quickly introduce myself. I am Arjun R. Prasad, engineer with 12 plus years of teaching experience, having trained more than 6,000 CAT aspirants in the fields of quantitative aptitude, data interpretation, data sufficiency, and logical reasoning. I have also trained them to crack the personal interviews. I have trained more than 4,000 students to crack the campus recruitment exams. Now let us move on to today's topic, which is simple interest and compound interest. If the interest is calculated only on the principal, then it is called as simple interest. Because the principal is a constant, the simple interest that is calculated is a constant year over year. However, for compound interest, the interest calculated on the principal as well as on the interest paid till that point of time is called as the compound interest. That is the meaning of compounding. Compounding means that on the interest that has been paid, we again will have to pay the interest. This is called as compounding. Is that clear? Let us understand simple interest and compound interest differences in the next slide. That is, I am considering P as principal, which is 100 rupees. Rate of interest is 10% per annum. Under compound interest, it is considered as compounded annually. And these 4 columns are for simple interest and these 4 columns are for compound interest. Okay. And this column tells me the year, which means that this table is nothing but the calculation of the values for a period of 4 years. P at BOY means principal at the beginning of year. INT means interest for the year. INT interest till the end of year. Amount at the end of year. Again, under compound interest, principal at the beginning of year. Interest for the year. Interest till the end of year. Amount at the end of year. For the first year, under simple interest, principal at the beginning of year 100 rupees. Interest for the year 10 rupees. Interest till the end of year 10 rupees. Amount at the end of year 110 rupees. At the beginning of second year, principal used for calculation 100 again. Interest for the year 10. Interest till end of year 10 plus 10 20. Amount at the end of year 100 plus 20 120. Third year, principal used for calculation 100. Interest for the year 10. Interest till the end of year 20 plus 10 30. Amount at the end of year 100 plus 30 130. Fourth year 100 10 30 plus 10 40. 100 plus 40 140. Let us see what happens under compound interest. Principal at the beginning of year 100. Interest for the year 10% of 100, which is 10. Interest till end of year 10. Amount at the end of year 100 plus 10, which is 110. Under compound interest, observe very carefully. Principal at the beginning of second year is not 100, it is 110 because we will have to pay the interest on the interest that has been paid. Therefore, the amount at the end of 1 year becomes the principal for calculation for the beginning at the beginning of next year. So, this 110 becomes the principal. What is 10% of 110? 11. What is the interest till the end of year? 10 plus 11, 21. What is the amount at the end of year? 100 plus 21, 121. What is the principal at the beginning? 121. What is the interest for the year? 12.1. What is interest till end of year? 21 plus 12.1, 33.1. What is the amount at the end of year? 100 plus 33.1, 133.1. Now 133.1 becomes the principal. Interest for the year 10% of that 13.31. Interest till end of year 33.1 plus 13.31, 46.41. Amount at the end of the year will be 100 plus 46.41, which is 146.41. If we understand this table thoroughly, we have understood the concept of simple and compound interest. However, there are minute observations that will have to be made. Let us look at what those are. Observation number 1. Difference between simple interest and compound interest for the first 2 years. That is, interest for the simple interest for first 2 years 20, Compound interest for first 2 years, 21. Difference between them, 21 and 20, difference is 1. And that 1 is nothing but equal to simple interest for 1 year on 1 year simple interest. What is 1 year simple interest? 10. What is 10% of 10? 1. That is why we say always difference between simple interest and compound interest for the first 2 years is equal to simple interest for 1 year on 1 year's simple interest. Is that clear? Next observation, difference between compound interest for kth year and k plus 1th year. You can take any value for k. Out of these, let me choose the value 2. For k, interest for the kth year, that is 11, interest for k plus 1th year, 12.1. What is the difference between 11 and 12.1? Difference between 11 and 12.1 is nothing but 1.1. What is that 1.1? It is 10% of 11. That is nothing but difference is equal to simple interest for 1 year on interest for the kth year. That is equal to simple interest for 1 year on interest for kth year. Interest for kth year 11, simple interest on that. That is 10% of that, which is 1.1. That is the difference between these two values. Is that clear? That's it. Let's move on with the next observation. Observation number 3. Difference between compound interest for k years and k plus 1 years. Let us take any value. You can take 21 and 33.1 to see the example, or 33.1 and 46.41. Let us say 33.1 and 46.41. What is the difference between these two values? The difference between these two values is nothing but 13.31. From where did we get that 13.31? That 13.31 came from here. What is this? This is nothing but interest on 133.1. That is why we say difference between compound interest for k years and k plus 1 year is equal to simple interest for 1 year on amount at the end of kth year. And the same thing, the same difference is nothing but the difference between amount at the end of amount for k years and amount for k plus 1 years. That is 133.1 and 146.41. Because we are just adding 100 to both of these. 33.1 plus 100, 133.1. 46.41 plus 100, 146.41. The difference still remains to be the same, which is 13.31. Therefore, we say difference between amount for k years and k plus 1 years is equal to simple interest for 1 year on amount at the end of kth year. Is that clear? Now, let us look at the formula. For simple interest, the formula is interest is always equal to principal into rate of interest per annum into time duration in number of years upon 100. Please understand, under compound interest, it is not compound interest which is equal to, it is amount under compound interest is always equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 whole raised to the power n, where R is the rate of interest per annum, n is the number of years, and this is the consideration where compounding happens annually. And if nothing is stated, we consider that compounding is taking place annually. Irrespective whether it is simple interest or compound interest, amount is always equal to principal plus interest. And here the principal is the initial principal, right? What happens instead if we say that compounding takes place half yearly? Then we will have to use a similar approach. Amount will be equal to P into 1 plus R by N. What is this R? R is nothing but the rate of interest per annum or annual interest rate, right? Divided by N. What is this N? Number of times the compounding is taking place within a year. Why should I divide? Because the effective rate of interest will be only that much. Say the rate of interest is 10% per annum. If I consider that it is being compounded half yearly, then the value that I have to consider must be only 5%. If I say that it happens quarterly, the value that I will have to consider is 2.5%. Whole raised to the power n into t. T is the number of years. N times per year, 40 years. So, to the power n into t. Basically, this signifies the number of times the compounding takes place. Is that clear? Okay. That's it. Let us look at a question. Find the interest under simple interest for a principal of rupees 1,800 at an interest rate of 4% per annum for a period of 4 years. We don't have to use a paper and pen. We can directly solve this. 1800. What is 10%? 180. What is 1%? 18. What is 4%? 72. If 4% is 72, that means the interest earned per year is 72. It is simple interest. Therefore, interest will be the same every year. 72 rupees every year for 4 years. That means 72 4 times. What is 72 4 times? 72 4 times is nothing but 288. Is that clear? The same thing I have written it over here. Simple interest is P into T into R upon 100. P is 1800. T is for 4 years. Rate of interest 4% per annum. Simple interest 1800 into 4 upon 100, which is 288. Is that clear? That said, let us look at another question. If rupees 3000 amounts to rupees 3420 in 2 years time, then what will rupees 5000 amount to at the end of 4 years at the same rate of interest under simple interest? Is that clear? So 3000 has become 3420 in 2 years. What will 5000 become in 4 years at the same rate of interest under simple interest? Again, we don't have to make use of paper and pen. Directly we can think. See, 3000 has become 3420, which means the interest that has been earned is 420 rupees. If the interest earned is 420 rupees for 2 years, then the interest earned for 1 year under simple interest will be half of 420, which is 210. So, 210 is what percentage of 3000 we have to figure out. What is 10% of 3000? 300. What is 1%? 30. What is 210? 37 times. Therefore, what is the rate of interest? 7% per annum. Okay. So, the rate of interest is 7% per annum. Now, the question asks, 5000 becomes how much in 4 years? Okay. 5000. What is 7% of 5000? See, 1% will be 50. 1% is 50. So, 7% will be 350. If 7% is 350, that is 350 rupees is the interest earned every year. If 350 rupees for 1 year, then 350 rupees 4 times for 4 years. 350 rupees 4 times will be how much? 1400. So, the interest earned is 1400. Please understand, one of your answer options may be 1400. If you mark, you will come out of the exam hall with a big smile on your face. Only to understand that the smile does not last long, because the question asked is amounts to. Therefore, it amounts to 5000 plus 1400, which is 6400. Is that clear? Now, for the sake of completeness, I have written it and I have given you the solution. Amount is equal to principal plus interest. Amount is 3420. Principal is 3000. That means interest is 420. Time duration is for 2 years. Interest is equal to PTR upon 100. Simplify, you will get the value of R as 7%. Now, the interest of for 5000 rupees for 4 years at 7% per annum will be 1400 rupees. And the answer 5000 amounts to how much? Therefore, amount will be 5000 plus 1400, which is 6400 rupees. Is that clear? Understood? Let's move on with another question. What will rupees 6000 amount to under compound interest compounded annually at the end of 3 years at 5% per annum? Okay. Let us see if we can solve it orally. Let us see. 6000 is there. Fine. 5% per annum. So, 300 rupees will be the interest. So, at the end of first year, amount will be 6300. Keep that in mind. 6300. Now, 10% will be 630. So, 5% will be 315. 6,300 plus 315, 6,615, 6,615, 6,615. What is 10%? 661.5, 661.5. What is 5% then? 330 point 5.75, right? So then just add the values and you will get your answer. So 6,000, 5% 300, 6,300, 5% 315, 6,615, 5% 330.75, and you'll get 6945.75. This is a very quick way of solving it. If you use the formula, what happens? Amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power n. That is, A is equal to 6,000 into 1 plus 5 by 100 to the power 3. Amount is equal to, you do all the simplification and finally you will end up with the same answer as 6945.75. Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone? So it is always better to just do the calculation very quickly in this fashion. Okay. We could have done that orally also. We had come up to 6,615. 5%, see 10% is 661.5. Therefore 5% is half of 661.5, which is 330.75. Add that to 6,615. You will get it as 6,945.75. Done? Let us look at another question. What principal would amount to rupees 7,400 in 4 years at 12% per annum rate of simple interest? Okay. Fine. Again, if we want to solve it orally, let us say that I consider the principal as 100 units. Interest every year will be 12 units then. For 4 years, interest will be 48 units. So the amount at the end of 4 years will be 148 units. Now this 148 units is equal to 7,400 rupees. 148 is equal to 7,400 rupees. Right? So then what is 1 unit equal to? 7,400 divided by 148. If I take the table, so 4, 1850 upon 1850 upon 37. 1850 upon 37. What is 37? 5 times 37, 5 times is 185. Therefore, 1 unit will be 50 rupees. If 1 unit is 50 rupees, then 100 units is 5,000 rupees. Therefore, the principal would be 5,000 rupees. Simplify, same thing. Whatever I explained, 100 units, I consider let the principal be 100 units. Then the total interest will be 48 units. 148 units is 7,400 rupees. That means 1 unit will be equal to 50 rupees. If 1 unit is 50 rupees, then 100 units is 5,000 rupees. The other way around, amount is equal to principal plus interest. Amount 7,400 is equal to principal P plus interest P into 4 into 12 upon 100. 7,400 is 148p upon 100. P is 7,400 into 100 divided by 148. Simplify, you will get the value of P as 5,000 rupees. Is that clear? Next, what sum would amount to rupees 39,930 in 3 years at 10% per annum under compound interest. Okay. Again, let us say the principal was initially at the beginning was 100 units. Then first year interest will be 10 units. So amount at the end of first year will be 110. Now that becomes the principal for calculation at the beginning of second year. So second year the interest will be 11. Therefore the amount will be 121. Now 121, 10% is 12.1. 121 plus 12.1, 133.1. Therefore, amount at the end of 3 years will be 133.1 units. Now 133.1 unit is equal to 39,930. 133.1 unit is equal to 39,930. That means 1 unit will be equal to how much? 1 unit will be equal to 300 rupees. If 1 unit is 300, then the principal was 100 units. So the 100 units will be equal to 30,000 rupees. Therefore, the principal is 30,000 or the sum is 30,000 rupees. Is that clear? The same thing I have explained it in both the ways, using the formula, using the normal calculation. Using normal calculation, whatever we just discussed, 100 plus 10, 110 plus 11, 121 plus 12.1, 133.1. This is equal to 39,930. So 1 unit will be equal to 300. So 100 units is 30,000. If you use the formula, A is equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 to the power n. 39,930 is equal to P into 1 plus 10 upon 100 to the power 3. So principal will be 39,930 into 10 into 10 into 10 upon 11 into 11 into 11. 11 into 11 into 11 is 1331, 1331. 3 times is 3993, 30 into 10 into 10 into 10. That is 30,000. Is that clear? Got that? Now, let us see another question. I'll give you a minute time to think and solve this. A certain sum doubles in 4 years under simple interest. In how many years will a sum become 6 times itself at the same rate of interest? A certain sum doubles in 4 years under simple interest. In how many years will a sum become 6 times itself at same rate of interest? Okay, see, when he says a certain sum doubles in 4 years, it means if the principal is P, then the amount is 2P. That means the interest is P, right? That means the interest is P. To get that interest of P rupees, I will have to wait for 4 years. Now, if P has to become 6P, then the interest is 5P. To get P, if I have to wait for 4 years, to get 5P, I will have to wait for 20 years. Therefore, my answer is 20 years. It is as simple as that. But if we have to write and solve, this is the way we do it. So, if the same thing, P is for 4 years, then for 5P, it will be 20 years. But if you want to solve it in this fashion, amount is equal to principal plus interest. Amount is twice the principal. So, amount is equal to 2P. That means interest is equal to P. Now, interest is equal to P into 4 into R divided by 100, which means R turns out to be 25%. Now, a sum has to become 6 times itself. That means interest has to be 5P rupees on the principal of P rupees in a time frame of X years at the rate of 25% per annum. You simplify this, you will get the value of x as 20. Is that clear? A very similar question, but this is now dealing with compound interest. It says a sum triples in 5 years under compound interest at a certain rate of interest. In how many years will a sum become 27 times itself under the same rate of interest under compound interest? See, it becomes 3 times in 5 years. Now that the amount that has become 3 times, if that becomes 3 times, that means it has become 9 times. It becomes 9 times in 10 years. Right? Now that 9, if you make it 3 times, then it becomes 27. So the amount of time will have to be 15 years. Every 5 years it gets tripled. First 5 years it got tripled. The tripled value again got tripled in another 5 years. So became 9 times. That 9 times of the value that gets tripled. So becomes 27 times. In how many years? In a chunks of 5 years, 3 times. That is 5, 5, 5. So totally in a chunk of 15 years. Right? So we don't have to use a paper and pen. However, if you simplify and if you want to solve it using paper and pen, this is the way. Amount under compound interest A is equal to principal into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power n. A certain sum triples, therefore the amount is 3p is equal to p into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power 5. This is known. Now he is asking in what time frame will the amount become 27 times the principal. So 27p is equal to p into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power x. 27, see p and p gets cancelled out here, p and p gets cancelled out here. 27 is same as 3 to the power 3. 3 to the power 3 is equal to 1 plus r upon 100 to the power x. What is this base value 3? The base value 3 is anyway equal to 1 plus r upon 100 to the power 5. So 1 plus r upon 100 to the power 5 whole rise to the power 3 is equal to 1 plus r upon 100 to the power x. That means because the bases are equal, the exponents will have to be equal. So x is equal to 5 3 times, which is 15 years. Is that clear? Now, let us see another question. A sum of rupees 5,000 has been lent at 10% per annum, interest being compounded annually. What is the interest for the 4th year? So I did it very quickly. I am not going by a lengthy route, doing it very quickly. 5,000, 10%, so the interest will be 500. End of first year or beginning of second year, 5,500. Interest is 10%, 550. End of second year will be 6050. End of second year or beginning of third year, 6050. 10%, 605. 6655. That is nothing but beginning of 4th year. If beginning of 4th year it is 6655, then the interest is 10%. So for the 4th year, the interest will be 665.5 rupees. Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone? Let us look at another question. How much will rupees 15,000 amount to in 2 years at 10% per annum, interest being compounded half yearly? This is very important. Interest being compounded half yearly. Right? If you use the formula, amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power n. Fair enough. You can use it. Amount A is equal to principal 15,000 into 1 plus. Look at it. Instead of taking the value of r as 10, I have taken it as 5. Why? Because the interest is being compounded half yearly. What is the applicable rate of interest for one small duration after which it is being compounded? It is after every 6 months. So for a year, if the rate of interest is 10% per annum, for 6 months, what will be the rate of interest? 5%, right? 5% will be the rate. So or 10 by 2, which is 5. So therefore, for R, I am writing it as 5 to the power n. What does this n signify? Not just number of years. It will be number of years if the compounding takes place annually. But if the compounding takes place half yearly, it is actually, this n is nothing but the number of times it is being compounded. So for 2 years, compounding taking place half yearly means it is being compounded 4 times. So 15,000 into 1 plus 5 upon 100 to the power 4. 15,000 into 1 plus 5 upon 100 to the power 4. If you simplify this, you will get the answer as 26,046.5625 rupees. Now, if you want to do the calculation very quickly, you have 15,000, 10% is 1,500, 5% 750. So 15,750. What is 5%? Will be 7. Looks like there's something that's wrong. Extremely sorry about it, guys. Yeah. So basically 10% is 1,500. So 5% will be 750. So 15,750. Right? So this is what it is. Somewhere has gone on. There's a small mistake over here. Kindly pardon me for that. Forgive me for that one. It is 15,000 into 1 plus 5 upon 100 to the power 4. We just have to calculate it. The mistake that has been committed is, let's see, 10% is 1,575. Therefore, half of it will be 787.5. I have taken it as 7,875. And that is where all of this has gone for a toss. Okay. So, please rectify that. And then if you calculate, you will get the answer. Sorry about that. Never mind. Let's move on with another question. If the rate of interest is 20% per annum with interest being compounded quarterly, then what is the effective rate of interest? Let us say I have 100 rupees. 20% per annum is the rate of interest. It's being compounded quarterly. So for 1 year, if it is 20%, so for a quarter, 1/4 of it, that is 5%. So 100, 5% of it, so 5, 105, 5% of 105, 5.25, 110.25, 5% of that, 5.5125, 115.7625, 5% of 115.7625, 5.788125, total will be 121.550625. So 100 has become 121.550625, which means that the effective rate of interest is 21.550625%. So the effective rate of interest is 21.550625%. Is that clear? Another question. The compound interest and simple interest for 2 years on a certain sum at a certain rate are rupees 3,450 and rupees 3,000 respectively. Find the principal and the rate of interest. If we remember the observations, the very first observation, we saw that the difference between simple interest and compound interest for a period of 2 years is equal to simple interest for 1 year on 1 year's simple interest. Isn't it? The difference in this case is 450. Simple interest for 2 years is 3,000, means simple interest for 1 year will be 1,500. What is 450? 450 is what percentage of 1,500? 450 is what percentage of 1,500? 450 is 30% of 1,500. Therefore, the rate of interest is 30%. Therefore, the rate of interest is 30%. Is that clear? Now, the interest is 1,500 for 1 year. Right? Interest is 1,500. If the interest is 1,500, if 30% is 1,500, if 30% is 1,500, then 1% will be how much? 1500 upon 30, which is 50. If 1% is 50, then 100% is 5000. Therefore, the principal will be 5000 rupees. So, 450 is equal to 1500 into 1 into R by 100. R is 30%. Use the same formula. 3000 is P into 2 into 30 by 100. P will be 5000 rupees. Is that clear? Next, let us look at another question. The compound interest on a certain sum at a certain rate of interest for second year is rupees 3300 and for third year it is rupees 3630. Find the principal and the rate of interest. See, for the second year, if the compound interest is 3300 and for third year it is 3630, the difference, which is nothing but 330, is nothing but interest on 3300, right? Difference between simple interest for kth year and difference between compound interest for kth year and k plus 1th year is equal to simple interest for 1 year on the compound interest for kth year. So the difference 330 is nothing but 10% of 3300. Therefore, the rate of interest is 10%. If the rate of interest is 10%, then we will have to calculate what is the principal going to be. So the 330, so rate of interest is 10%. So 10% of P into 1 plus 10 by 100 will be equal to 3300. When simplified, we get the value of the principal as 30,000 rupees. Therefore, what is the principal? The principal will be 30,000 rupees and rate of interest is 10% per annum. Now another question. Lakshmi borrowed a loan of rupees 2,40,000 from Krishna at 10% per annum interest compounded annually. At the end of first year, Lakshmi repaid rupees 32,000. What amount should Lakshmi pay at the end of the second year to completely discharge the loan? See, 2,40,000 rupees has been borrowed at a rate of interest of 10% compounded annually. So at the end of first year, it amounts to 2,40,000 plus 24,000, which is 2,64,000. But out of the 2,64,000 rupees, please understand, interest has already been considered over here. After considering the interest, then it comes out to 2,64,000. Out of that, 32,000 has been paid. What is the remaining? 2,32,000 rupees. So 2,32,000 will be used as the principal for calculating the interest at the beginning of second year. So at the end of second year, it will be 2,32,000 rupees plus 23,200 rupees, which is nothing but 2,55,200 rupees. Therefore, effectively, Lakshmi will have to pay 2,55,200 rupees at the end of second year to completely discharge the loan. Is that clear? Okay. Now, this said, before I conclude and summarize, see this topic of simple interest and compound interest, fine, you may think that, the questions are given, it is all about calculation. I know the formula, I calculate and I solve. Yes, that is enough if you are just willing to, crack the questions that appear in the exam. But every question that we see or every topic that we understand, we need to understand that it has a real life significance as well. How does this concept impact us in the real life? Let us just think about it. If you look at the history, in the past maybe 10 years, 20 years kind of a time frame, if you look at the maybe median average, median inflation rate, or could be average inflation rate, it is hovering somewhere between, let us say, 7% to 8%. So the inflation is hovering somewhere over there. If you just consider, let us say that you have 100 rupees with you. it became 200 rupees. 100 rupees became 200 rupees. Right? Let us consider with an interest rate of 7%. That is inflation of 7%. 100 has become 200 with an inflation of 7%. 100 becomes 200 in a period of how many years for at the rate of 7% per annum compounded annually. If you calculate, it turns out to be somewhere around 10 years, which means every 10 years the value of rupee depreciates by 50%. That is the meaning. In other words, to buy a loaf of bread today, if I am paying 10 rupees, 10 years down the line, I will have to pay 20 rupees, and 10 years from there, I will have to pay 40 rupees, 10 years from there, I will have to pay 80 rupees, and so on and so forth. Now, why did I give you this example? Just consider this point. Let us say your expenses to run the home for a month. Let us take some ballpark value, let us say 25,000 rupees per month. It is 25,000. Just as an example. Let us say you are 20 years old. By the time you are 60, which means in a span of 10 years chunks, if you take, you become 10 years, you become 30. Another 10 years, you become 40. Another 10 years, you become 50. Another 10 years, you become 60 years. So it is 4 chunks of 10 years each. And in 10 years, the value of rupee depreciates by 50%, which means that to buy the same thing, you will have to pay double of what you are paying today, right? So if the expenses today is 25,000 rupees per month, 10 years down the line, it would be 50,000 rupees. 10 years from there, second time, it will be 1 lakh rupee. 10 years from there, it will become 2 lakh rupees, and 10 years from there, it will become 4 lakh rupees. That means, without changing the lifestyle, to maintain the same lifestyle, today if you are spending 25,000 rupees per month, after 40 years, you will have to spend 4 lakh rupees to maintain the same lifestyle. I am just going by a plain data over here. Is that clear? 4 lakh rupees per month means how much per annum? 48 lakhs per annum. If 48 lakh rupees has to be the money that you are going to raise as interest, consider an interest rate of 5% per annum at that point of time. If 5% of something is 48 lakhs, what is that something? That something will be 9.6 crores. And that, my friends, has to be the corpus that you will have to maintain at the end of 60 years. So the point is, if we understand the compound interest concept, we will see that the real life benefits are humongous. We can start planning from now itself as to what needs to be done or what is the future value of this particular rupee going to be. And then we can plan and see in what way we need to save money or invest money such that at that point of time we would have built a corpus of that much money. Please understand, 9.6 crores that I am telling is only at the time when you are 60 years old. But given that the life expectancy has been going up continuously, if our life expectancy is for 90 years, that means from 60 to 90 again that gets doubled, right? So that 9.6 will not be good enough. We will have to take at least twice of that, which means we will have to have a saving of close to 20 crore rupees at the time when you are 60 years old. If you are 20 years old today with a running expense for the home at the rate of 25,000 rupees per month. If you say, no, it is not 25,000, it is 50,000, then just double it. Simple. Instead of 20 crores, it will become 40 crores. That's all. Hope you understood the concept. Hope you understood the importance. And pardon me for that one small mistake in the solution that was there, that was given. Please understand, in a hurry, I had given a wrong solution for this particular question. So please ignore this one. Okay. Now that's it. Let me wind the topic. And to summarize, we have understood the concept of principal. What is principal? What is interest? What is amount? What is simple interest? What is compound interest? As simple as that. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the session. If you would like access to more such sessions, do subscribe to Unacademy. When you subscribe, you get access to daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, and just one subscription will give you unlimited access to all the educators on the platform. You can attend the live classes, attend the batch courses. You can use a schedule that works for you. You can learn anytime, anywhere. Language is not a barrier. You can interact with educators, get your doubts cleared, answer the live polls, live tests, quizzes. Detailed report and analysis will be provided for every test that you attempt on the platform. PDFs and learning material will be provided to you. All of this comes at a very reasonable subscription fee of just 18,900 rupees for a period of 24 months. Even if you are giving CAT this year, I would still recommend very strongly that you take up a 24-month subscription, because it is really value for money. It comes to be less than 800 rupees per month. Right? I am not trivializing that money by any which way, but that is huge value. Right? And this 18,900 will be the subscription fee after a discount of 10%, and you get a 10% discount if you use the code APUS while subscribing. Please do not forget to use the code APUS, Arjun Prasad Unacademy subscribe. That is your way of showing a good feedback to me. If you liked my session, please do subscribe and use the code APUS. With that, I'll be signing off. Again, I just remind you the same code APUS. Hope you enjoyed the session. Hope to see you on the Unacademy platform if you are not there yet, very soon. Okay. Thank you. This is Arjun Prasad signing off.